أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي ليس لأوليته ابتداء ولا لأزليته انقضاء، وانحصرت الأوصاف عن كنه معرفته وردعت عظمته العقول، والذي لا تواري عنه سماء سماء ولا أرض أرضا، ثم الصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على سيد البطحاء سيد المرسلين والأنبياء أبي القاسم محمد المصطفى.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
وعلى الجوهرة القدسية البتول العذراء سيدة النساء فاطمة الزهراء، وعلى بعلها أمير المؤمنين وبنيها الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
لا سيما على بقية الله وحجته الكبرى الذي بيمنه رزق الورى وبوجوده ثبتت الأرض والسماء، ولولاه لصاحت الأرض بأهلها، واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين من حين عداوتهم إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقد قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم: علي عمود الدين. صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
شهيد الأول رحمة الله عليه in his book Kitab al-Mazar has narrated the ziyarat of Ahlulbayt alayhim salam, and he also narrated the ziyarat of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, in which Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam is telling us the etiquettes of saying salam. As-salamu ala mizan al-a'mal. Salam be on the mizan and scale of the actions. This is how Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam is mentioning Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam as mizan. ومقلب الأحوال, and the changer of the situations. وسيف ذي الجلال, and the sword of Allah who is majestic. Shaheed al-Awwal is one of our greatest scholars in the history. We call them the first martyr. That's how he's remembered. One of those precious few mujtahids whose books are entered into the syllabus. We have thousands of mujtahids, alhamdulillah, and we have like 9 or 10 approximately mujtahids only whose books entered into the syllabus. And Shaheed al-Awwal is one of those greatest ones, and this is from since centuries. One of his greatest masterpieces is Kitab al-Mazar, which is like the mother book, one of the mother books of ziyarat that we have. So, as-salamu ala mizan al-a'mal. So, salam be on the mizan of all the actions. Imam Ali alayhi salam is the mizan, distinguishes the value of the actions. Everything that we believe and everything that we perform, and the value of that is going to be determined by Allah through the comparison of our beliefs and amal towards Imam Ali alayhi salam. He is Al-Faruq al-Akbar, As-Siddiq al-Akbar, wal-Faruq al-A'zam. Siddiq means the one who has truthfulness in every aspect of his life. And Farooq is the one who distinguishes the haqq from the batil. So, a believer in Imam Ali alayhi salam is also supposed to be able to distinguish haqq from the batil, because Quran has said, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu in tattaqullaha yaj'al lakum furqana. For you who believe, if you have taqwa of Allah, Allah will provide furqan to you. And in the tafsir, our scholars have said, if you abstain from haram, if you abstain from the disobedience towards the commands of Allah, so anyone who abstains from disobediences towards Allah's commands will definitely receive furqan from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If in my life I see I can't distinguish who is on haqq and who is on batil, and I'm stuck, I must understand that I don't have taqwa. I must understand that I fail to abstain from the harams in my life. This is the guarantee of Allah in the Quran. In tattaqullaha, if you have taqwa of Allah, Allah will provide. Yaj'al lakum furqana. Allah will provide furqan. The vision in the soul that enables you to distinguish haqq from the batil, which is very, very important in our lives, because if this vision is missing, then we may end up considering batil to be haqq and haqq to be batil, because batil always presents itself in the form of haqq. One of my favorite books, which I strongly recommend to everyone who asks me about reading books, is the book of Shahid Mutahari in the name of Haqq and Batil. One of the favorite books of mine that changes your vision about Islam. So we need to understand haqq from the batil. We need to enable ourselves to distinguish haqq from the batil, so we can support the Ahlul Haqq, and so we can distance ourselves from those who belong to batil. So this is the trait, the attribute of a follower of Imam Ali alayhi salam. He is the Mizan al-Amal and مقلب الأحوال إذا رأيتم الجبل زال عن مكانه فلا تصدقوه. If you see a mountain moving from its place, don't, إذا رأيتم الجبل زال عن مكانه, if a person changes his his behavior in terms of the nature of the person. Every person has a nature. If you hear the news that a mountain has moved from its place, certify the news. That means accept this news. But if you hear that a person has changed his nature, do not certify this news. This is how hard it is for human beings to change their nature. Moving of a mountain is an easy thing to believe in, although that doesn't happen that easily. But it's easy to believe in that if we hear that kind of news. If you hear Mount Rainier has moved from the south towards the border of Canada, It's easier to buy this news as compared to the news that this moment has changed his nature. This is how difficult it is for a person to change the nature. The only factor which changes, so nature of people never change. Right? Prophet has said in his famous hadith, An-nasu ma'adin. People are minerals. Ma'adin al-dhahab wal-fidda, like the minerals of gold and silver. You never find the gold converting into copper. You never hear copper converting into titanium. So very clear guidance from the Holy Prophet. People are like minerals. So minerals do not change, right? So nature of the people does not change. The only one factor in Islam that changes the nature of the human beings is love of Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam and love of Ahlulbayt alayhi salam.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali
There is only one thing. There is no second thing available which can change the nature of the humans from one state to the other. This is one of the reasons why we emphasize so much on the love concept of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. It's not an emotional thing. It's not playing with the emotions of the people. This is an academic discussion going on. We're talking a scholarly discussion. So, Imam Ali alayhi salam is mentioned in this ziyarat narrated by Shahid al-Awwal as Muqallib al-Ahwal. That's how we say salam to Imam Ali alayhi salam. Salam on the one who is the changer of the situations. Love of Imam Ali changes us. Love of Imam Ali alayhi salam is iconic. Love of Imam Hasan, love of Imam Hussain, love of Ahlul Bayt changes the nature of the people. The only one factor in Islam. So we need to adhere to this love, we need to stick to the love of Imam Ali alayhi salam, we need to understand the concept, we need to enhance our love of Ahlul Bayt. So Islam is a religion of love, and all the levels of Iman return back to the level of love of Ahlul Bayt. And all the levels of kufr also return down to the level of hate of Imam Ali. Right? Didn't the Holy Prophet teach us that, our top level of the hellfire is the one who hates Imam Ali alayhi salam in the heart only, and the middle level of the hellfire belongs to those people who hate Imam Ali alayhi salam with the heart and the tongue. And the lowest level of the hellfire belongs to those people who hate Imam Ali salam with the heart plus the tongue plus bil yad, actions. Yad is a kinaya and metaphor, means actions. Performs things against Imam Ali's walayat. Practically damages the concept and the goals of the walayat of Imam Ali. Practically you take some steps in your life that damages the goals for which Imam Ali and his walayat stood for throughout his life. This person belongs to the bottom of the hellfire. And likewise, the paradise, the lowest level of paradise belongs to those people who, first of all, the paradise belongs to those people who have zero hate of Ahlul Bayt, of Imam Ali in their heart. Any slightest hate and paradise is haram on the person. So now when it comes to zero hate of Imam Ali and the love, now those who are very low in their level of iman, that they only loved Imam Ali in the heart but they could not say anything. Loving of walayat of Ahlul Bayt through the heart. The middle level of paradise belongs to those people who not only loved Imam Ali alayhi salam with their heart, inside the heart, but they also used their tongue, they expressed, they defended the walayat of Imam Ali alayhi salam through their tongue, and the goals of the walayat of Imam Ali through their tongue. And the highest level of paradise belongs to those people who not only defended the walayat of Imam Ali alayhi salam through the tongue, but also with their hands they defended the walayat practically. They took steps to defend the walayat practically. They belong to the highest level of paradise. So the whole, entire destiny of humankind is directly dependent on the concept of love and hate. So we believe in al-hubbu fillah wal-bughdu fillah. Man ahabba lillah wa abghada lillah wa amsaka lillah wa a'ta lillah du'iya fi malukut as-samawati 'azima. Whomsoever loves for the sake of Allah and hates for the sake of Allah and gives whatever he gives to whomsoever he gives for the sake of Allah, and wa amsaka, and holds on, that means abstains from giving for the sake of Allah, this person is du'aya. He is called in the malakut and hidden realities of the heavens. This person is named as Azim person. This is a sign of azamat of a person, that whenever he loves for the sake of Allah. Whomsoever he loves, he hates for the sake of Allah. Whomsoever he gives for the sake of Allah. Whomsoever he does not give to, he holds off for the sake of Allah. So Imam Ali alayhi salam, in the complete sense of the word, is mizan of the amal. So we need to understand what is haq and batil. We need to understand the values of Quran and Ahlulbayt. These are the ma'arif of Quran and Ahlulbayt. Like I said in one of my previous speeches, for those of you who were present, I mentioned that ma'arif of Quran and Ahlulbayt are the Abe Hayat. I don't know if some of you were present in that speech or not. Ma'ul Hayat, water of life. Abe Hayat. There is no water of life, any fountain flowing somewhere, like people say, and Prophet Khidr alayhi salam drank from that fountain and thus he became immortal. No, there is no such fountain. That's un-Quranic to believe, because Quran has said, my teacher Ayatollah Jawadi Amuli Hafizahullah was saying in the tafsir, this is wrong. Even if you find some hadith which contradicts the Holy Quran, فَضْرِبُوهُ عَلَى الْجِدَارِ, throw it on the wall. Whatever Prophet and Ahlulbayt have said can never contradict the Holy Quran. They are Al-Quran al-Natiq. They are walking and talking Quran. Nothing of their hadith can ever contradict the Holy Quran. Noor of Quran and Noor of Ahlulbayt is actually one and inseparable. إِنَّهُمَا لَن يَفْتَرِقَا. Quran and Ahlulbayt can never get separated from each other. Hatta yarida alayya al-hawz, till they meet me at the fountain. So there cannot be any contradiction between Quran and Ahlulbayt. So this is against the Holy Quran. If somebody believes that there is some fountain flowing somewhere, and because Prophet Khidr alayhi salam drank from that fountain, so he became immortal. Un-Quranic. Let's have some better level of understanding, growth, rushd al-ruhani, spiritual growth. So we deal with things in a scholarly way, increasing our knowledge, increasing our rushd and growth level. So there is no such fountain. If there was such a fountain, if anybody drinks from that, he becomes immortal. The person who deserves to drink from such a fountain would have been Muhammad ibn Abdullah al-Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Most deserving person to remain forever. And Amir al-Mu'mineen wa Imam al-Muttaqeen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. The most deserving person to live forever. But Allah has already said in the Holy Quran, إِنَّكَ مَيِّتٌ وَإِنَّهُمْ مَيِّتُونَ. definitely you are going to die, and definitely they are going to die. So everyone is bound to die. No one can escape the death, and they already died. Right? So the point is that when we say Ma'ul Hayat, water of life, it stands, my teacher said, that this stands for Ma'arif of Quran. How much we are learning the Ma'arif of Quran and Ahlulbayt in our lives. Ma'arif of Quran are taught by one personality in the entire history, and that one personality after the Holy Prophet is Amirul Mu'mineen wa Imam al-Muttaqeen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. Because Prophet has said, Ana Madinatul Ilmi wa Aliyun Babuha. I am the city of knowledge and Ali its gateway. So the only source, Prophet is limiting the source. This hadith of the Holy Prophet gives the benefit that the only source of knowledge of the Prophet, which is the knowledge of Allah, which is limitless, because ilm is Ainul Zat. Ilm is one of the sifatun subutiyya of Allah. This is nothing but His essence. Essence is limitless, and thus ilm is also limitless. The only source for the limitless knowledge of Allah is Imam Ali alayhi salam. So, exact words of my teacher, he said that Mu'allim Imrus Saqir Fardas. The one who is teaching the Ma'arif of Quran today is the drink provider tomorrow. So we have heard so much. We have this fountain of Kawthar of the Holy Prophet, A'tani al-Kawthar wa A'ta Aliyan as-Salsabil. Allah gave Kawthar to me, and Allah gave Salsabil to Ali. So Kawthar is Prophet's property, but the drink of this Kawthar, Abyadu min al-laban, whiter than the milk, wa ahla min al-asal, sweeter than the honey. Anyone who drinks from the fountain of Kawthar, the attribute of this drink is that la dhama'a ba'dahu. After drinking, there is no thirst remaining forever. So if you drink from the fountain, you will never get thirsty throughout your life. These are the attributes of the fountain of Kawthar. And the drink provider of this fountain is Amirul Mu'mineen wa Imam al-Muttaqeen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So how much ma'arif of Quran and Ahlulbayt we are learning through Imam Ali today in our lives? That would determine the extent of our how much we deserve to get the drink of Kawthar. Because Kawthar, the fountain of Kawthar, is nothing but personification of Ma'arif al-Quran. Ma'arif al-Quran and Ahlulbayt will be appearing in the form of fountain of Kawthar. And the drink provider is only Imam Ali alayhi salam, just like the only source of knowledge back then in the life of dunya was Imam Ali alayhi salam. So if you learn the Ma'arif of Quran and Ahlulbayt back then in the life from Imam Ali, it's only then you deserve to get the drink of Kawthar. So Imam Ali alayhi salam, when it comes to his level of Ma'rifat, look at what Sheikh Saduq narrates in Kitab al-Tawheed, that Imam Ali alayhi salam doing the tafsir of Qad Qamat as-Salah. That means the prayer has definitely stood up. Imam Ali alayhi salam doing the tafsir of this sentence of Qad Qamat as-Salah from Iqamat, he says, Hana waqt az-ziyara. The time of ziyarat of Allah has arrived. Imam Ali alayhi salam considers the prayers as ziyarat, the ziyarat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The time of ziyarat of Allah has arrived. Hana waqtu ziyara wa qada' al-hawa'ij wa dark al-muna. The time of fulfillment of our hajat has arrived. The time of reaching our wishes. we have a wish lists, right? Certain things we can do, certain things we are not able to do right now, we put it in the bucket of our wishes. So all the wishes that a person had, this is the time of reaching all of your wishes, because now you are seeing the source of every blessing, which is Allah. Wal wusulu ilallah, the time of reaching Allah has arrived. And towards His afu, His forgiveness, and His gufran, Allah forgiving our sins, wa ridwanihi, karamatihi, wa ridwanihi, and reaching the karamat and dignity of Allah, and reaching the pleasure of Allah. This is how Imam Ali Islam is doing the tafsir of Qad Qamat as-Salat. So this is where this hadith shows a glimpse of the ma'rifat of Imam Ali salam. So this is where our scholars, our Urafah say that the ma'rifat of Imam Ali salam for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was not ma'rifatun bil ghaib. Ma'rifatun bil ghaib, knowing without seeing Allah, belongs to lower level of mu'mineen. Imam Ali salam is Amirul Mu'mineen. Didn't the Holy Prophet say, Sallimu alayhi bi imratil mu'mineen? That means say salam to him. Talking about Imam Ali salam. Say salam to him by mentioning the fact that he is the Amir and commander of all the mu'mineen. Sallimu alayhi. This is where we learn the word Amirul Mu'mineen being specific to Imam Ali salam. Please say salawat. Amirul Mu'mineen and Imam al-Muttaqeen and Ya'subuddin, these are all titles given by Rasulullah to Imam Ali salam. So Imam Ali salam has this level of ma'rifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that his iman is iman bish-shuhud. That means, shuhud means witnessing. Ghaib means unseeable. If something is beyond this wall, this is not called ghaib. Well, I cannot see it right now, that's true. But I can always walk out and see, right? So this is seeable. What is seeable is not called ghaib in Arabic. So ghaib is something which is not seeable, not within our reach. So Imam Ali salam's ma'rifat of Allah is ma'rifatun bish-shuhud. It's higher than the level of ma'rifatun bil ghaib. That means he sees Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and then he performs the ibadat. Like when someone asks Imam Ali salam, Hal ra'ayta rabbaka, did you see your Lord? One narration says that he said, Afa a'budu ma la ara? Shall I worship the one that I didn't see? Shall I worship the one that I do not see? He said once. So obviously that means I never worshipped that Lord who I did not see. And another narration says that Ma ra'aytu shay'an, you must have heard already from scholars, Ma ra'aytu shay'an illa wa ra'aytu Allah qablahu wa ba'dahu wa ma'ahu wa fihi. I haven't seen Allah except that I've seen Allah before seeing that thing and after seeing that thing and alongside with that thing, wa fihi, and in that thing. That proves that Imam Ali salam is witnessing Allah always. This is where my teacher said that Imam Ali is mashghul, he's engaged in ru'yatul jamalil mutlaq, witnessing the absolute beauty. Don't we say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Inna Allaha jamilun, hadith says, Inna Allaha jamilun, yuhibbul jamal. Allah is beautiful and He loves the beauty. So Allah is absolute beauty. All the attributes of beauty are His. All the attributes of majesty, sifatul jalali wal jamal, are His. He's absolute beauty. So because Imam Ali said, this makes sense. When Imam Ali is witnessing the absolute beauty, this clears up the concept why Amirul Mu'mineen is not even willing to see his own self. Forget about paying attention to other people or other things in this dunya. He is not even willing to see his own self. It's a very high position. It's very hard for us to forget ourselves because we do not love anyone or anything more than our own selves. Remember when someone asked Abu Zar al-Ghafari, Ma lana nakhaf al-maut? What's the issue with us that we people are afraid of death? And Abu Zar, rahmatullah alayhi, said, لأنكم عمرتم الدنيا وأخربتم الآخرة. Because you people have constructed the dunya and destroyed the akhirat. فَتَخَافُونَ أَن تُنْقَلُوا مِنْ عُمْرَانٍ إِلَى خَرَابٍ. So you are afraid of getting transferred from a well-constructed place to rubble. If we destroy our akhirat at the cost of, constructing our dunya, some people are running after this mal, dunya, 9 to 5, 9 to 7, running after dunya at the cost of ignoring Ma'arif al-Quran wa Ahlulbayt, which is the Kawthar on the Day of Judgment. This is going to guarantee that we will never have thirst. And on the Day of Judgment, there is no water fountains available that we can, go and buy or drink. If we want to have access, we want to quench the thirst, the only way is to get the drink of Kawthar. That's the only way. And if we are not deserving, then we will be thirsty forever. So now, there is no room for a person to ignore the ma'arif of Quran and Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. And Imam Ali alayhi salam is the only source, the sole source of ma'arif. So coming back to the point I was saying is that Abu Zar said, لَأَنَّكُمْ عَمَّرْتُمُ الدُّنْيَا. You people constructed the dunya, وَأَخْرَبْتُمُ الْآخِرَةِ. And you destroyed your akhirat. And you are afraid from getting transferred from the well-constructed place to a rubble. Makes sense. Everybody is afraid, right? Nobody wants to go to rubble from nicely constructed place. Then this person said to Abu Zar that, so what's the solution to this problem? He said the solution is that لا تسيء إلى أحب الأشياء إليك. Do not do bad behavior towards the most beloved thing of yours. He said, who's going to do a bad behavior towards the most beloved thing? When we love something, obviously, we don't do bad behavior towards that thing, right? And the most beloved thing, nobody's going to do a bad behavior. Abu Zar said, no, that's exactly what you people are doing. Because then he said, Nafsuka ahabbul anfuse ilayk. Abu Zar is that person for whom Imam Ali is the Rawi and narrator of this hadith that I heard from Rasulullah saying that Ma aqallatil ghabra wala adhallatil khadra wala aqallatil ghabra ala zi lahjatin astaq min Abi Zar. Imam Ali is the Rawi of the narration that I heard from Rasulullah saying that the earth never carried the burden of a person and the heaven never put its shadow on any human more truth-telling than Abu Zar. Astaq. This is the hadith of Rasulullah narrated by Imam Ali. So Abu Zar is the most truth-telling according to Rasulullah and Imam Ali alayhi salam. He can never lie. So he said to the person, this is exactly what you people are doing. That nafsuka, and then he said, nafsuka ahabbul anfuse ilayk. Yourself is the most beloved thing in your eyes. It's a fact of the matter. We love our own selves more than anybody. If it comes to protect our own self and others, who are we going to give preference? Our own selves. And then he said, فَإِذَا أَصَيْتَ اللَّهِ فَقَدْ أَسَأْتَ إِلَيْهَا. When you do sin, you have done bad towards your own self. This is the reason, because we do sin and we do bad towards our own self, this is the reason we end up, because of our sins, we end up getting afraid from the death. That's the sequence. How the fear of death comes into the heart. So those people who either don't do the sins or do the tawbah successfully after the sins are ready to embrace the death always. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam has said, Wallahi labna Abi Talib anas bil maut. I swear to Allah, the son of Abu Talib is more familiar towards death min at-tifli bi sadyi ummihi, than a baby towards the breast of its mother. Please say salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
So Imam Ali salam is that much familiar with death. Imam Hussain salam is that much familiar with death. So coming back to the point I was saying is that Imam Ali is witnessing nothing and no one other than Allah. This is the kind of personality who's drowned in the ishq of Allah. All he sees is Allah. All he thinks about is Allah. This is the level of ma'rifat of Imam Ali alayhi salam. This is where they want to take us to that level. Ayatollah Hasan Zadeh Amuli, my teacher, was saying in his book that agar behish shirin ast, behish afirin shirin tarast. It's a beautiful statement. I really love the statement of my teacher. If paradise is sweet, everybody wants to go to paradise. Obviously it's sweet, it's good, it's nice. Then the creator of paradise is sweeter. The one who creates that kind of paradise has to be sweeter. So how many people strive to reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and work for liqa'ullah instead of entering the paradise only? Again, this is a lack of ma'rifat, because they are stuck with ghairullah. They are stuck with things other than Allah, right? Whereas Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to take us to reach that level of itminan, where Quran says, Ya ayyatuhan nafsul mutma'inna irja'i ila rabbiki radiyatan mardiyya. Fadkhuli fi ibadi, enter into my slaves. Wadkhuli jannati, enter into my paradise. Our scholars say in tafsir, this is jannat of the zat and essence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is higher than jannatun hissiyya. We have two kinds of paradise, jannatun hissiyya and jannatun aqliyya and ghair hissiyya. Right? The tangible paradise and the non-tangible paradise. Tangible paradise belongs to the lesser level of mu'mins. But Jannat of the Zat of Allah belongs to only those awliyaullah, those servants of beloved servants of Allah who perform everything for the sake of Allah alone, without bringing Jannat in their intentions or without having the purpose of their worship being abstaining from the punishments of hellfire. This is what Mawla Amir Mu'mineen alayhi salam had said, that in qawman abadullaha raghbatan, there are people who worship Allah for the sake of the eagerness. That means eagerness towards the rewards. Fatilka ibadatul tujjar, this is the worship of the businessman. You give and take. You do your salat, you want to get the reward. You give your fasting, you want to get the reward from Allah, and so on and so forth. Businessmen, transactions. We do worships so that we get the rewards from paradise. Very low level of worships. Because this guy still is unable to remove ghairullah, things other than Allah, from his qalb. Didn't the hadith on Qudsi hadith teach us that al-qalbu haramullah, soul is the holy sanctuary of Allah. فَلَا تُسْكِنْ فِي حَرَمِ اللَّهِ غَيْرَ اللَّهِ, do not let non-Allah to reside in the sanctuary of Allah. That means the qalb should be the place for Allah's love only. This is the highness where they are trying to take us, so that we can enter into Jannat of the Zat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَإِنَّ قَوْمًا عَبَدُوا اللَّهَ rahbatan. Imam Ali says there are people who worship Allah because of the scare. They are afraid of the punishments. We heard so much punishments in the hadith of the Holy Prophet. We do this sin, you get punished. We do this sin, get punished. When people read that, they start obeying Allah. And that's the majority of the people who worship Allah, is because of the fact they are afraid of the punishments. A minority worships Allah for the sake of the rewards. And then a further extreme less number of minority are the ones who worship Allah for the sake of what Imam Ali says, وَإِنَّ قَوْمًا عَبَدُوا اللَّهَ شُكْرًا فَتِلْكَ عِبَادَةُ الْأَحْرَارِ. And there are people who worship Allah for the sake of gratefulness. That means they consider Allah to be deserving of gratefulness, and that's the ibadat and worship of the free men. This is لَوْ لَمْ يَتَوَعَّدِ اللَّهُ. If Allah had not threatened us with the punishment over sinning against Him, Imam Ali says it was still wajib on us to not to sin against Allah. Shukran li ni'amihi. So we are grateful towards the blessings of Allah. If we realize that He is the blessing provider and we continue to sin against Him, even if there was no threat from Allah that if you people do this, this punishment is going to be given. Even if that was not there, just Allah being the blessing provider was sufficient for us to be grateful towards Him. These are the ma'arif where Ahlulbayt want to take us to. So we reach higher, we break away from the world of matter, which is the reason behind all the sins is attachment to the world of matter. Please say salawat. So when this faqir comes in the Masjid al-Nabi and asks for help, and he keeps on repeating his demand, and no one, Masjid is full of companions and ashab, and no one is ready to help. And we find this faqir now says a sentence that shakes the conscience. He said, "Oh my Lord," now he starts addressing Allah, "I am leaving your house empty-handed. And no one is there to help me from your house." Now the person who represents Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has to come forward. This is where Amir Mu'mineen alayhi salam did his ishara with the hand, and this person comes and takes away the ring from the finger of Imam Ali alayhi salam, and this is the sadaqah that Imam Ali has given during the ruku of his salat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed this verse, إِنَّمَا وَلِيُّكُمُ اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا الَّذِينَ يُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ وَيُؤْتُونَ الزَّكَاةَ وَهُمْ رَاكِعُونَ. Our mufassirin say that all the verses of Quran are not restricted with Sha'nun Nuzul. If one verse is revealed due to some incident happening, that does not mean that you cannot use the verse, you cannot apply the verse other than that incident. No, you can still apply the verse till the Day of Judgment on any incident which is similar in nature to that incident. Sha'n al-Nuzul does not restrict the application of any verse, except those ayat of Quran which are mukhtas. And this ayat is one of those few ayats of Quran only which are specific. And this ayat is mukhtas and specific to Imam Ali alayhi salam, and it cannot be applied to any other masoom other than Imam Ali alayhi salam. Because he is the only one who gave the zakat during the ruku. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends the verse to endorse the walayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen. And Allah is introducing our wali and mawla through this act of ikhlas that Imam Ali alayhi salam has displayed during the salat. Allah is using this incident as introducing his wali and mawla to the humanity. So Imam Ali alayhi salam, this does not clash with the essence of ikhlas, that we need to pay attention, our qalb should be focused on Allah, because he's again just like the story of the camel I told in one of my speeches. I don't know if you were present or not, but a prophet was gifted 2 camels, right? Very, very expensive ones. We learn from the history. Prophet is not going to keep the camels with him. He has no attachment with the world of matter. Obviously, he's going to give it away. When he said, who is going to, among you, who is going to pray, do the wudu and with khushu and fear of Allah perform 2 rakats of prayers without thinking of anything of this dunya during the prayers. It's a very difficult condition that we don't even think of anything of this dunya during the prayers. Imam Ali said he is willing to do that. And he started his prayers in front of the Holy Prophet. As soon as Imam Ali is done with the 2 rakat prayers, Allah sends Jibreel. Jibreel says, Allah is saying salam to you. And Allah says, give 1 camel to Ali. Prophet said the condition was that a person should not think of anything of this dunya. Whereas Ali was, Prophet can read the mind, right? He can see, like Imam Ali, like Ahlulbayt, they can read the minds of people, right? But the condition was a person should not think of anything of the dunya. Whereas Ali was thinking during the salat, which of the 2 camels he should take. Jibreel replied that Ali was thinking which of the 2 camels he should take. He should take the fatter one, so he can give that for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this was not a thinking related to dunya, this was a thinking related to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In other words, this is where you find that Prophet started to corrupt. Prophet already knew that Imam Ali's intention was that pure. Maybe one of the wisdoms why Prophet said, so that the rest of the ashab who were present in the gathering will end up knowing the highness and azamat of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. This is the status of Imam Ali. So again, thinking about which camel he can do the sadaqah for the sake of Allah is not a thinking related to this dunya. He doesn't think about anything of this dunya in his entire life. This is the fikr of akhirat, this is the fikr of Allah. So a Prophet started to cry. Crying is a sunnat of Rasulullah. Some people never cry. Prophet used to cry every now and then. Every now and then Prophet was crying. Prophet started to cry, and Prophet gives away both the camels to Imam Ali as sadaqah. And Imam Ali as the gift. And Imam Ali gives away both the camels fi sabilillah as sadaqah. Please say salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. This is the highness of Ahlulbayt alayhi salam. No attachment, zero attachment with this world. And likewise, Imam Hussain also said the same thing. Ilahi taraktul khalqa turran fi hawaka. Brothers, these are very easier said but harder to do. Ilahi taraktul khalqa turran fi hawaka. Oh my Lord, I left all the creatures so I can see you. So I can see you means I can continue seeing you. Imam Hussain always sees Allah, nothing but Allah. But he wants to continue seeing Allah. He continues to break away from everyone and everything other than Allah. So he wants to continue seeing nothing but Allah. Ilahi taraktul khalqa turran fi hawaka. Wa aytamtul ayana likay araka. I made the children orphans so I can see you. So, taraktul khalqa turran fi hawaka. I left all the creatures in your love. And I made children orphans so I can see you. وَلَوْ قَطَّعْتَنِي فِي الْحُبِّ إِرْبًا. If you cut me into pieces in your love, مَا حَنَّ الْفُؤَادُ إِلَى سِوَاكَ. The heart shall not be inclined towards anyone other than you. This is that kind of Imam Ali must have a son like Imam Hussain, his heart is always and only inclined towards Allah. So there the enemy started to wage the war on the 9th of Muharram Tasu'a, and Imam Hussain seeks time, further time, So one more night, because Allah knows anni uhibbu salat. Allah knows that definitely I love the praise. Mawla, you have been praying throughout your life. Imam Hussain wants to spend one more night in the praise. This is the level of love of Allah. Didn't the Prophet say, "Ju'ilat qurratu aini fi salat"? You know, the comfort of my eyes have been put in prayers. Prophet used to love to pray. Likewise, Imam Hussain wants to spend one more night in the salat. Everyone in the camp of Imam Hussain, and that night nobody slept. Everybody was busy in salat and dua and munajat. Some narrations say Imam Hussain showed all of those great ashab their darajat and levels in the paradise. Each one was shown. All of them are obviously Ahlul Yaqeen, and they were shown their levels in paradise. Sayyidah Zainab is so great. Look at how much she loves Imam Hussain. Now, she was paying a visit into the khayma to see what's the status of ashab. She didn't want anybody to leave Imam Hussain alone. And on the day of Ashura, how much she loved Imam Hussain. She comes there and she sees that Muslim ibn Awsaja, Habib ibn Mudahir was delivering the sermon. Habib ibn Mudahir is so great. He is delivering the sermon in front of the rest of the ashab that tomorrow we have to sacrifice a head of Banu Hashim. Let's not allow anyone from Banu Hashim to become our shaheed as long as we are alive. We have to sacrifice a head of them. Sayyidah Zainab goes into the khayma and she witnesses what Abul Fadl Abbas was saying to Banu Hashim and teaching the Banu Hashim that we need to take sabqat and lead over the ashab before the ashab can give their lives. Let us, Banu Hashim, present our lives for Imam al-Hussain. Look at the situation in Karbala. And let's pay a visit to Imam al-Hussain. Look at Imam Hussein's situation. My Mawla said he extinguishes the candle in the night of Ashura. Mawla is the madhar of every name of Allah, including Al-Ghani, As-Samad. He doesn't stand in need of the ashab. He doesn't stand in need of Banu Hashim. He doesn't stand in need of anybody other than Allah. Look at the highness. This guy, that kind of father will have a son like Imam Hussain. He extinguishes the candle and then he says, in the presence of Banu Hashim and Ashab, لِيَأْخُذُ كُلُّ وَاحِدٍ مِّنْكُمْ بِيَدِ رَجُلٍ مِّنْ أَهْلِ بَيْتِي. Each one of you should grab the hand of one person from my Ahlulbayt and leave me. ذَرُونِي وَهَؤُلَاءِ الْقَوْمِ. Leave me with these people. فَإِنَّهُمْ لَا يُرِيدُونَ غَيْرِي. Because they don't want anyone other than me. Obviously they wanted to kill Imam Hussain in the real sense only. Right? So Imam Hussain is even asking his Banu Hashim, even asking the ashab, if I am left alone with a handful of companions, what would a sinner like me would do? I would try to protect my supporters. Because I am already short of supporters. I would have protected my supporters. My Mawla is Madhar of Al-Ghani. He doesn't stand in need of anybody. This is a ni'mat of Imam Hussain. Favor of Imam Hussain on Banu Hashim. Favor of Imam Hussain on Ashab. That Imam Hussain is accepting them to support him. Hal min nasirin yansuruna is not the need of Imam al-Hussain. It's the need of us. This is a ni'mat and favor of Imam Hussain on the people and believers till the day of judgment. Because this is how we get the guidance and hidayat. If we support Imam Hussain, we get guided and we get successful. Imam Hussain doesn't stand in need of us. We stand in need of Imam Hussain. And my Mawla is that much ghani, beniyas. Doesn't stand in need. And this time, look at how much my Mawla, Imam Ali used to love Imam Hussain and how much Imam Hussain used to love his father. When he says to the people that, Bima tastahilluna dami, why do you consider my blood to be shed, to be halal to be shed? They replied back, Bughdan li abika, in the hatred of your father. Because they hated Imam Ali alayhi salam. It was the bughd of Imam Ali in action. This is why my Mawla Imam Hussain cries over Amir al-Mu'mineen on the day of Ashura. Amar Arafah say, this is the dalil that Imam Ali is the biggest Mazloom. My Mawla was crying over Imam Ali's Mazloomiyat even on the day of Ashura. How much Imam Hussain loved Imam Ali alayhi salam. How much Imam Ali used to love Imam Hussain. Narration teaches us, whenever my Mawla Imam Ali used to look at Imam Hussain, he used to cry. This is how Imam Hussain is. Ana qatil al-abarat. I am the qatil of tears. La yazkuruni mu'minun illa istahbara. No moment will recall me except that he will end up in tears. Imam Ali used to, cry by looking at Imam Hussain. Prophet used to cry by looking at Imam Hussain. But tonight I would like to talk about that person that Imam Hussain used to love. That is Sakina bint al-Hussain. How much my Mawla loved his daughter Sakina. You know how much daughters are attached to the fathers. And how much the fathers are attached to the daughter. Sakina, when Imam Hussain departed after Vida and farewell, he hears the voice coming. As he turns, he finds Sakina is chasing Imam Hussain, coming after him. My Mawla came back to Sakina, came to us Sakina, and Sakina said, Baba, make me sit in your lap and rub your hand over my head, the way you did to us, the daughter of Muslim. Sakina saw when Imam Hussain heard the news of Shahadat of Muslim Aqil salam, he rubbed the hand over the yatima daughter of Muslim. There's so much sawab in Islam to rub the hand over the head of the orphan children. My Mawla did every single mustahab in his life. So Sakina says, make me sit in your lap and rub your hand over my head. I know you're not going to come back. How much Imam Hussain was attached to Sakina. And Hazrat Zainab knew this how much Imam Hussain was attached. After the Asr of Ashura, Sayyidah Zainab could not find Sakina, could not find her. She went towards the Maqtal. Now salam to the azamat of Lady Zainab. She is going towards the Ashqiya, towards the Maqtal, to find Sakina, the Shuja'at of Hazrat Zainab. She is going in the night towards the Maqtal, and she finds Sakina is lying over the chest of a body without head, and she grabs Sakina into her arms, and she said to Sakina, how did you realize this is the body of your father? She said, I was saying Baba, and this body replied back, Ayleya, Ayleya, ya bunayya, come towards me, my dear daughter. This is how Sakina understood this is the body of my father. And then, when the water is brought, it was said that the one who is the youngest is going to get the water first. So Sakina was given the water. Sakina takes the water towards the Maqtal, towards the battlefield. And she was asked, where are you going? She said, you said the one who is the youngest will get the water first. I am taking the water to Ali Asghar. He is younger than me. Now during the travel, the head was carried of Imam Hussain, his head was on the spear. That spear goes into the ground, doesn't move forward. Shimon al-La'in comes with his slashes, and he started to torture Imam al-Sajjad with his slashes. Unless the head of your father moves forward, I will continue to do that. And this is where my Mawla asks his father's head. The Imam Hussein's head spoke miraculously about Sakina falling down. My Mawla, Imam al-Sajjad asked Sayyidah Zainab. Every time Sayyidah Zainab was helping. Look at the azamat of Sayyidah Zainab. My Lady Zainab now goes towards finding Sakina. And this is where she goes towards the desert, to find Sakina. She finds there is a lady with niqab. The face is covered. And this lady is holding Sakina in the lap. Definitely, Hazrat Zainab never saw anyone showing so much love towards Sakina. She never saw anybody throughout the travel. She asked the lady, who are you? And Hazrat Fatima removed the niqab. Why wouldn't Fatima show the love towards the yatima of Hussein? ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون إلهي بحق الزهراء وأبيها وبعلها وبنيها والسر المستودع فيها وإله پرچم اسلام کو سائے بلند فرما کفر و شرک و نفاق کو سائے نگون فرما انقلاب اسلامی کی حفاظت فرما تمام علماء ربانیین تمام مراجع کرام بالخصوص رہبر انقلاب کا سایہ ہمارے سروں پر برقرار تمام مجاہدین اسلام بالخصوص جو حرم مقدسہ کا عراق میں شام میں جناب زینب سلام اللہ علیہ کے حرم کا دفاع کر رہے ہیں ان کی نصرت فرما تمام اسرائے اسلام بالخصوص شیخ زکزکی ان کی زوجہ محترمہ تمام مومنین جو نائجیریا کے زندانوں میں ہیں تمام مومنات مومنین جو بحرین کے زندانوں میں حجاز کے زندانوں میں ہیں پاکستان کے کشمیر کے زندانوں میں جلد سے جلد رہا فرما تمام مومنین کی جان و مال و آخرت کی حفاظت فرما تمام مومنین کی مشروع حاجات کو پورا فرما تمام مومنین کو وظائف شرعیہ پر عمل کرنے کی توفیق ہماری اس قلیل عبادت کو قبول فرما بانی مجلس کے مرحومین کی مغفرت فرما بانی مجلس کی مشروع حاجات کو پورا فرما خدایا ہمیں اس وقت تک اس دنیا سے نہ اٹھا جب تک امام زمانہ ہم سے راضی نہ ہو جائے ان کے ظہور میں تعجیل فرما ہم سب کو ان کے انصار اور اشیاء میں قرار دے ربنا تقبل منا انك انت السميع العليم بجاہ محمد و آلہ الطاہرین ایک سورہ فاتحہ بانیان مجلس کے مرحومین کے ساتھ یا حسین
حسین